Hey, what's up guys? Sumanjay here and welcome to another video. And in this video, I will be talking about basics and everything that you will need in your daily life about Git and GitHub. If you are in the field of coding, you must have come across the term GitHub and Git in lots of online tutorials, like in workshops and even in my Telegram posts. I always write about GitHub and drop a link to the source code. And if you have ever wondered what is that, in this video I intend to explain them and hopefully you will get an idea of what they are and how they work. So now let's quickly figure out what is GitHub and why we should be using that. So GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control and collaboration. In simple words, GitHub is a cloud storage platform just like Google Drive, OneDrive or Mega, but it is built to store and maintain code. Apart from just storing your code, GitHub allows you to collaborate with other programmers on your projects and make the source code accessible to anyone from anywhere in the world. It also keeps track of every single change that you make and commit. In that way, if you ever need to go back to a specific point in time, you can easily do that. Now let's understand what's the meaning of version control. And this is where Git comes in. I will not mix up both and I will explain about Git separately. So first of all, we should have a glance about the tools and the everything that GitHub is offering. So I have listed out a few points. So first of all, GitHub is a code hosting platform that I already discussed. It basically provides the GUI, graphical user interface for the version control system. As I mentioned earlier, it allows collaboration. It makes the code organized and accessible. It keeps the track of every single change, and it is easier to roll back because you can see all the changes there. And it is also easy to track issues, bugs, and manage the releases. One more exciting thing about GitHub is the offering of GitHub Pages. So GitHub Pages is basically a free to use service, and you can host your basic static HTML, JavaScript and CSS websites on GitHub for free. Maybe I will be making a separate video on GitHub Pages uses, and I will compare it with Netlify and other stuffs, but that's something we will talk about it in future. Now let's understand what is Git. Git is a version control system. It is in charge of tracking your source codes and your files and any changes that you make during your development. Git operates locally, therefore it has to be installed and linked with your GitHub, GitLab or whatever version controlling platform you are using. And to connect that, we will be using a remote because it will use that remote to access your projects and update them accordingly. And now it's time to explore how these are done using GitHub. I will be covering these first and then I will be moving on Git command cycle, which is a very easy and important concept to understand. Okay, so now we have switched to our web browser. We will be heading to github.com. And I am expecting you that you are already created an account and logged in here. So we will just get started by clicking on new. And then I will choose a repository name. Make sure it is short and try to avoid spaces in it because it can create a problem while you are using the terminal. So I will just name it test repo. And guys, you can think of repository as a folder. For now you can just think about it as a folder, nothing else. So don't think it is a very big and complex thing. It is a very easy and list. Think of it about like a folder, and then fill in some description. And this is the description for this test repo. Okay, I'll make it private for now, and make sure that you are initializing this repository with a readme. This will allow you to be download this repository to your local computer. And if you want, you can add git ignore and a license file. What is a git ignore? Like if you choose any language here, like something specific to Python, and they have to stay in your local drive only, and it is not to be uploaded on your GitHub publicly. Okay, so yeah, I will just add it Python git ignore file for now, and then I will create a repo. After that, you will find a new readme.file is created. This file is mostly used when one of you want to give a detail about the project which you have created. Like if you have created any app, you can give instructions to use that app. You can add screenshots, you can link to the releases. If you have created a CLI tool or something like that, you can just give a brief introduction like how to install this app or something like that. All the information, readme is basically the first thing that any user will be reading before using your specific project or app. Now once we have created a repo on the GUI, I will just use HTTPS link to copy this and clone it in our local client. Okay, so I'll just open the terminal and then I will go to whatever directory I want to make this clone this basically. And what cloning will do, it will create a copy of this repository, I mean folder, on your local computer. Okay, so I will just write git clone and then I will just copy paste it like whatever I have copied from here, and then it will ask for the username because it is a private repo and I'm not entering any password or something like that. So I will do it right now and I will be entering the password for that. And guys, for this you need to set up git on your terminal. You can just google it how to download and install git on your computer. It's very easy, and if I'm correct, it's git-scm.com and you can easily get the OYA versions from there. So now successfully cloned the repository in my local computer, so I will just cd to test repo. Okay, and then I will ls, and now you can see the readme.md file is visible, but the gitignore file is not visible. Why? Because it is starting from dot, so by default it is a hidden folder. I'll just open this in the and now when I will press Ctrl H on Linux, it will show me the hidden folders also. So there is a .git and there is a .gitignore file. I will be telling about it later on. You will get an idea about what these things are. And if you open the gitignore thing, it will contain a list of extensions that it has to ignore. Like if there is something like JSON and dumpy JSON or something like this, or env file, environment file, so it will ignore that and it will not upload that on GitHub. So if you are creating any env file and storing the keys here, it will be able to run those when you are testing or debugging, but it will not upload that to GitHub. So it's a secure way to upload keys on like production or in deployment things. So you have to keep an eye on that. So now I will just remove that because it's getting complex, I guess. So there's only readme.md file here, as you can see on here, and you can ignore gitignore for that if you're not getting. It's not recommended for beginners also, but once you are getting more familiar with GitHub, and you will just explore all these and get familiar. So for now I will just create a file here. So I will be using, let's say, VS Code only. I'm not going to touch it. So now we are in VS Code. So what we are going to do is, like, we are going to create, if you choose Python here, it will automatically ignore the files like .env and then create a file, like let's say a new file, and I will name it anything, like say print hello GitHub. I will just save it as anything that I want, like hello.py. Now it is saved. So I will just move to terminal here and then I will go to git and status. So it will show you the status, whatever is happening. So what git clone did, it created a whatever changes you did on GitHub, it just cloned that changes on your local repository. So when I will be explaining the git command cycle, you will get a better idea of that. But for now, you can just see that we are on the branch master, and there is an untracked files. What untracked file means, like you have created the changes locally, but it is not updated on your GitHub has not tracked all these files. So it is saying you to git add that and then include whatever the message that you have to include and whatever you have to say about it, and then push to the repository. So now you can see hello.py which we have just created, it not accessible. So what we will be doing, we will be just committing these changes, and then we will making a commit and then pushing it to GitHub. For that we need to do just first we need to stage the changes. So for staging the changes we need to git add dot or the file name, let's say hello.py. And yes, if you are writing dot, then whatever the changes, like say if I've created many files like hello1, hello2, hello3.py, so whenever I will write git add dot, it will change commit all the files, like whatever files we have. You don't have to write one by one. So I will be using hello.py because it's just one file. So what it did, it just staged the changes for that commit. I will be explaining what is staging and all those in the cycle thing. So now I will be adding a message. Here you can see there is a +1 that says that one commit is extra and we have not yet submitted that changes to GitHub. So I will just do git status again to just check the status, and here it is saying that it is a new file but you need to commit it. Okay, so we will be writing git commit -m is for message, and this is the message. Like if anyone will read your code, or if you see your code on GitHub, it will just see what you have done in this specific commit. So let's say we have added GitHub, so you have just add sorry, we have added hello. So I will just write added hello.py file. And guys, this is a very useful thing. Like if you are adding any like if you are making a music app, and then you are adding a support for, let's say, YouTube. So you will make some changes, like 3 or 4 files you will change, and then you will git add all, and then you will just create a git commit, and then you will write added YouTube support. So whenever you will someone like another programmer will open that commit, it will see whatever the changes you did just for the YouTube support. Like if it is not interested to view all your code, he can easily see what the changes you have done just to add the YouTube support. Okay, so now you will be doing this. So it says yeah, and this you can see this is an alphanumeric code. Like when you will expand it, you can, I will show you this on GitHub. This is an alphanumeric code basically, and what it did, it added the hello.py file, and it tells how many file has been changed and changed, and insertions and deletion. I will show you on the graphical user interface on GitHub website also. And now we have to finally push these changes to GitHub. For that I will just use git push, and then I will specify the branch origin master, or you can just write git push also, that will also work. So once we have done that, it will ask for the username again. So I'll just do this, and to get rid of entering username and password again and again, you can use SSH, but just for this tutorial I've used the HTTPS thing. Okay, so now you can see the alphanumeric code which I was talking about, and you can see this and this is same, and it has just reducted all those alphanumeric things, and it has used delta compression, and whatever the changes you did, it has uploaded only that. And let's not go into detail of this, and I will just refresh it, and then hello.py should be visible here. Yeah, here it is. And you can also see the message which we wrote, and there's all the changes of history of commits. I will just click here, and I will show you whatever the changes which I have done. I will open the hello.py file, and it will show you a brilliant plus minus thing, like we have not added anything. I've missed this also. So I will just do it once again and show you how these are rectified, and how beautiful it will show you. Okay, so I will get rid of this first, and let's say I missed this, and I will also add one more line. Okay, print, and let's say show this in addition, or let's say let's get rid of the print thing. Okay, so I'll just again do all those things, and you can do all those things by in one sentence also. Git add hello.py and git commit -m new update, and then I will write git push. So it will do all those things in just one command. I'll just enter the username and password again. And you can also configure the username and password globally, and you can just do a quick Google search and you will get how to do that. And now when you will open the test repo, you will see another commit and it will be incremented. Now we have done 3 commits, and when we will click on the third commit, now it will show you what are the things you have added and what you have subtracted. Okay, so now we have removed the git hello GitHub and we have added a new line. So this is how, like, if we do any changes or fix any bugs, like you can easily see what changes we have done and what are the things that we are doing behind the scenes. So it's very easy to collaborate. Like people can write a comment on this, open an issues, and then lots of features are there just to make your code collaboration hosting easy. And if you, it is a very good skill, guys. Like if you are learning GitHub, it is not a waste of time, it's not going anywhere, and it's just recently Microsoft bought it, so obviously it has a good future, and it is the most popular amongst that GitLab and Bitbucket, so it's a very good skill to have. Guys, so now we will be understanding what is a git command cycle and how this thing is working behind the scenes. So first of all, in order to push our changes to GitHub, we need to first of all stage the changes for commit. So we do generally by like the command which I told you, git add followed by the file name. So, and after that, like you can see, this is the step git add, and then you will be staging the file, and then you need to commit that file using a message like which I told you, the command git commit -m, and then whatever the message you want to leave there for that specific commit, and then you have to push the changes to GitHub, like to remote repository. If you remember, I told you git uses a remote to create a link between the local directory and the remote repository. So remote repository is basically whatever service you use, either GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket, or whatever you want to use. And then once you push the changes, then the local, all the files from the local repository is pushed to the remote repository and available online. So these are the stages which you have to do, and in one step also I've told you the command using and we can just do all the 3 parts in one step and directly push the changes to our remote repository. So what is the point of doing this? Like why we are doing that? Why we are not just doing one step and then directly uploading all the files like we do in normal uploading and downloading? The benefit of that, like we have a flexibility in each step. Like if you have added any step, added any command, and now we want to remove it, we can easily reset that specific command. And like if we have committed that file and like we have generated a alphanumeric code for that, and using that code we can just reset that commit and then come back to the working directory. And like if we want to like if we use the GitHub user interface and then we added any repository, like we are not using the command line and we are not using the VS Code, we are just using the website of GitHub, and then from there we are uploading a file, so we are updating directly here. We are not getting that changes in the local. So what we are doing, we will just git pull. So whatever the changes we did in the remote repository, it will be reflected back into our working directory. And let's say if we want to fetch it into our local repository, but we don't want to override the change in our working directory, so we can use the git fetch command. And then the whole idea of using this, the whole idea of using the and learning the git command cycle is basically we have the flexibility of doing everything and staging everything. Like we can keep a track of all the history that we did, like whatever we added, whatever we deleted, and everything. So your code is well organized. Like at any point if you want to go back, you can easily go back. Like if we have added it, we can go back. If we have committed it, we can go back. And if we have pushed it, we can just fetch it and pull it. So in this way we can maintain a sync between our working directory and our remote repository. So this is how a git command cycle is basically working, and you don't need to learn all the git commands to use it. I don't know if anyone is there who has memorized all the git commands. All you need to do is understand the workflow, and if you ever come across an advanced use of GitHub or you git commands, like if you need to do cherry picking and everything like that, you can easily get the commands from Google search. but understanding the command cycle will help you in figuring out what to search on Google. I hope now you guys are familiar with this whole complex procedure, and it now feels very easy for you to understand. So that's all for today. If you have made it till here, I am sure you have learned something new, and that's the reason behind the creation of this YouTube channel. Like this video, share it with the needy ones, and subscribe to stay updated about new things occasionally. Keep learning, stay home, stay safe, and be happy. Thank you.